On the outskirts of town, there stood a dark and ominous forest. It was a place where people feared to go, for rumors swirled of strange creatures and malevolent spirits lurking within its depths. One day, a group of teenagers decided to ignore the warnings and venture into the forest. They were curious to see for themselves if the rumors were true. As they walked deeper into the forest, the air grew colder and the trees grew thicker. The sunlight could barely penetrate the canopy, casting the forest in an eerie twilight. The teenagers began to feel uneasy. They could hear strange noises all around them, but they couldn't see anything. The forest seemed to be closing in on them. Suddenly, one of the teenagers tripped on a root and fell to the ground. The others rushed to help him up, but when they turned around, they saw that he was gone. The teenagers searched for their friend, but they couldn't find him anywhere. They called out his name, but their voices echoed unanswered through the forest. The teenagers began to panic. They realized that they were lost and alone in the dark forest. They started running in all directions, but they couldn't find their way out. As the night wore on, the teenagers grew more and more terrified. They heard strange noises all around them, and they felt as if they were being watched. One by one, the teenagers began to disappear. They would vanish without a trace, leaving their friends behind to search for them. Finally, only one teenager remained. He was exhausted and terrified, but he refused to give up. He knew that he had to find a way out of the forest before it was too late. He stumbled through the darkness, guided only by the faint light of the moon. He could hear the sounds of creatures moving all around him, but he didn't dare look back. Suddenly, he saw a light in the distance. He ran towards it as fast as he could. When he reached the light, he found himself standing at the edge of the forest. He had escaped. He turned around and looked back into the forest. He could see the faint outlines of creatures moving between the trees. He knew that if he had stayed one moment longer, he would have never gotten out. He turned and ran away from the forest, never looking back. The next day, the townspeople searched the forest for the missing teenagers, but they couldn't find any trace of them. The teenagers were never seen again. To this day, the dark forest remains a place of mystery and dread. Some say that the teenagers were taken by the creatures of the forest. Others say that they were lost forever in its depths. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is for sure: the dark forest is a place where evil lurks. It is a place where people should never go alone.